Everything is super dry out this morning. So that's good. That means we can get some painting done or sanding. You know, when you wake up in the morning and be like super dewy and you can't get anything done. Pete's reading a Wooden Boat magazine.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We haven't gotten in Wooden Boat yet. You guys gotta help us get into the Wooden Boat magazine. Any Wooden Boat people out there? You guys gotta love Norna. Our boat's beautiful. So I'm gonna answer some questions and stuff. A few messages that I should probably answer this morning. Continue to try to answer stuff for you guys. And we're just gonna have some tea and coffee and get our morning started. I'm kind of thinking I might want to sew. Ava's still at her sleepover. She'll be back today. She'll probably be sleeping in for a while, so we'll probably get her. When should we get her?
She's gonna call.
Oh, okay. Alright, anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and get our day started, and I'm gonna have my tea. Maybe while I'm drinking my tea, I'll answer some questions. This is pretty cool. So I talk about on my day 2 vlog about a Charlie Noble, and this person, Scott Dublisky, said, "I really enjoy your videos. You guys make the rough patches of living the good life all worth it. Figured you might like this tidbit of trivia. Charlie Noble is the smokestack on a ship's galley. Around 1850, a British merchant service captain, Charles Noble, upon discovering that the stack of his ship's galley was made of copper, ordered that it be kept bright. From then onwards, the ship's crew then started referring to the galley smokestack as the Charlie Noble." That's pretty cool.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I was wondering where I got the name.
So I saw a person, Bruce McIntyre, asking about what type of boat and how big is it. And then somebody had replied to him that we had paid $10 for the boat. And yes, that's right. Actually, the story about the boat is that it was hauled out in Oasis in St. Augustine. And the owner, Flemming Jorgensen, he had built the boat in Denmark in 1978. He probably started building the boat, and then probably took about 10 years to build it, and launched it in 1988, sailed it over to America, and when he hauled out at Oasis, it had a propane explosion. Then Fleming had nowhere to live, so he had to fly back to Denmark, thus leaving the boat here and no one to care for it. So that's when Pete came along, and you know, I think the owner, Fleming, wanted somebody to rebuild her and not just to cut her up. He was looking for somebody who was, you know, worthy enough for the boat. There were several people that would come and didn't really know enough about wood to be able to do stuff to it. So Pete got the boat for $10. Of course, it was 10 years later that the boat was ready to go. Sailing Lolita said, "Hey, can you tell me anything about the awesome schooner at 10 minutes 5 seconds?" That's Schooner Freedom, a great group of people that run the ship, and it's what is Freedom? What is Schooner Freedom?
Oh, it's I can't remember the name, the designer, but he's a designer builder. And there's like 3 or 4 of them around. But
if we think about it, we'll tell you. I can't think of it either. But
yeah, I don't know
if we remember it, I'll mention this again.
Custom steel schooner.
Yeah, it's a custom steel. Those nav lights, those solar nav lights are actually they're actually one of those solar things that you get on a dock. You know, when you're walking down a dock, they have like solar lights. Well, we got one of those at Sailor's Exchange, and then I had a couple of the little Perco lamps, the red and green ones, so we caulked those on, and that's how we did it. It's probably not exactly right, because I think you're supposed to have the red all the way over and the green all the way over, but it's a dinghy. And the one thing we did notice, though, is that we'll dock the dinghy, and the light's still on, you know, because it's nighttime. You can't really turn the light off. So that's a little bit of something we didn't think about.
Yeah.
Or if we
cover for it.
Yeah, or if we raise the dinghy in the davits, that light is still on.
Well, that's the worst thing when it's in the davits.
Yeah, it's wrong way.
Sideways with a green red pointing downwind.
Okay, day 3. I'm gonna answer a few questions on day 3. And I'm really glad that everybody's, willing to watch, even though we're hauled out. We're not, there's a lot of people that are on lots of adventures. I follow a few people that I really like that are on some really awesome adventures. And we had our adventure a couple years ago, and it was amazing. But it's not always an adventure, and it's not all the time that you can not work, so that's what we're kind of doing is we're back to work, and we're back to working on the boat. And oh, okay, actual simmer. This is really cool because I didn't know what the name of it was. See, and I talked about being out at sea and then waking up and sticking my head outside and not knowing which way was up or down because the sky and the water looked exactly the same. So I thought we were upside down. I had no idea which way was up or down. So he wrote, it's called spatial disorientation. So that's interesting, spatial disorientation. I didn't know that that's what that was called. That's pretty cool. Thank you. I think the rear white light needs to be visible from 360 degrees. You can still use a solar light, just get one of those pathway markers on a short post. Lid Motor wrote on day 4, I love the sound of Perkins in the morning, always have. To me, it's usually signals the start of a new adventure. Off we go. I'm glad you like the sound of a Perkins. That thing sounds like a tractor motor.
We like it when it shuts off.
Yeah.
We're glad that it does run.
Yeah, that's for sure. That was a lot of work getting it back running. You guys, if you follow our vlogs, you saw what we went through to get that motor running. So, rebuilding that head gasket, at least we know a lot about it and we understand the motor pretty darn good inside and out. Lowbrow Scruffy, he said, I believe the tarp is a good idea for containing paint and bottom coatings, sanding, dust, etc., that are often very toxic. I can imagine in 20 years that a boatyard could become very polluted with some really bad stuff. Yeah, you're right. I think a lot of that bottom paint, they've come a long way with bottom paint. I think it's better than like that tin, that tributyl tin stuff. Luckily, with our boat, we're a wood boat, a lot of our paint is non-toxic, water-based stuff. We do try to be very environmentally friendly with the stuff we do, low VOCs. Sometimes Pete does a little bit of that work because he is a shipwright, so he'll do a lot of carpentry stuff that might be a little more. But on Norna itself, we do try to, be a little bit environmentally conscious. We've got, the copper bottom.
We live off of wind and solar.
Yeah, we live off of wind and solar. So we do try to be as environmentally conscious as we can. We don't use much water because... I don't know, I'm getting off on a tangent.
Oh.
Hey, 5. Brett Kramer. Hey, Courtney. You mentioned something about a holding tank and not using restroom facilities on the boat when you are on the hard. I was wondering, when the boat is on the hard... and you use the bathroom, and therefore the holding tank, is it even possible to pump out the holding tank, or is that not even possible? Is there a pump-out truck that comes around? No.
You're lucky if you can pump out when you're
marina.
Traveling around the coast and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. They say that they are supposed to pump out, but a lot of places don't.
Or they're broken.
So that's why...
And the thing about this, there's never an emergency, really.
Yeah.
Because it's not liquid. Well, the pee side is, but
only on a boat thing can you talk about pee and poo
in the morning.
But we're gonna get nitty gritty here. Well, that's why we decided to go with a composting toilet.
You're in charge.
Yeah, because you're in charge of emptying it.
You don't have to rely on someone else.
Yeah, you don't have to rely. So the thing about it is, you can see how far the pee jug is, and then you know that it's time to change it, and luckily we've got 2 of them. And then if we're offshore, you can empty that. Or if you're in the intercoastal, just go to a bathroom somewhere and dump it out, or go into the woods somewhere and dump it out. And then the poo side, you just empty that into a bag and throw it into the garbage. And you're not the only one throwing away poo. I mean, baby diapers, and that's the nice thing. And also, what Pete mentions about being waterless with a composter is that when you go, you use a bunch of water to flush it into your holding tank. Where there's no water. It's just essentially separating the two, and you're just going in dirt, essentially. And the thing about it is people have the holding tanks, and they put all these chemicals in the holding tank to try to make it smell good. And then, you know, if they can't pump out their holding tank, or they go offshore and they dump it, all those chemicals are going into the ocean. So, I don't know. I definitely like the composter a lot. Everybody has been answering some really great things about, you know, helping us get Layla down the ladders. Summer Davis said, have you tried to leave a harness on Layla at all times? They get used to it, and it's easier to catch her if she gets out.
You might, maybe, but she pulls so hard on it, too.
Yeah, she's a very chesty dog.
It would be good for getting her up and down in the boat, though, because they got the handle on it. That would be good for that.
We do
but
have
walking
one.
her, she just still pulls like crazy without that.
Yeah, she's very, very,
we should
very
use both of them, though.
Strong-willed. That's a good idea. I think we will. You know, a lot of people have mentioned that, and I think that's a good idea. We're just gonna. That's it for now, and I'll try to keep up with any of the questions. So if you guys want to ask me anything, just post it down in the comments below, and I'll try to get to it as quickly as possible. So I'll see you guys in a minute. So I had the day off yesterday. I didn't film really that much. We filmed a little bit of our day. But kind of took the day off because it is holiday weekend, so kind of taking a little break. But I can't take a break every day. I gotta get back to work, so I'm gonna start sewing the covers for this bed, this side now. Anyways, I guess I'll charge this camera for a little bit, and I'm gonna just get everything set up to sew. You guys have seen me sew.
All the cap rails. Yeah, I don't know about those little spindles, but the tops of all the cap rails.
Yeah. Nice job. Right. So I got it all sewed up. Now I gotta see if it fits. There it is. Of course it's not tight right now because I gotta put the textiline on the bottom. This is the Velcro and the textiline, but I can't do that until we get back from picking up Ava. We're gonna go pick up Ava from her friend's house. Just warming up the bus a minute while I wait for Pete. Windshield. You can see there's a bunch of scratches in it. We didn't do that when we took the tint off. This wasn't on here when we took the tint off. I don't know where these scratches came from. The only thing we could guess was Layla. We're not exactly sure. But we gotta buff these things out. We gotta find something to buff these out. You can kind of see some scratches in a windshield. It's kind of a bummer. Let's press it.
Courtney's driving the bus. Got it? Heading over the Matanzas Inlet. Beautiful spot. One of our favorite spots. One of the most natural inlets in Florida. Sometimes it gets a little tight on the boat when Courtney's sewing. No one can do anything.
Hey.
The feng shui of the place is much better.
Yeah. Alright, well we're going to chill out the rest of the night and take some showers. And I'm going to actually sit down and do some editing, which Ava like that. Ava likes to do the editing. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I want dessert.
Okay.